Jelly Star. Hello, Deseret. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing okay. Hope you're feeling even better today, Jelly Star. And welcome back to the morning Medley streams, Deseret. Wow, Mushroom Tea is becoming one of the people that's really on time lately. Thank you, Mushroom. I appreciate it. I hope you're having a good morning. I'm glad to hear you're hanging in there, Jelly Star. Yeah, my room faces south, so I always get sunlight. Even in the winter, I get the sun coming directly through. Gran Turismo 4. Which Gran Turismo are they on right now? Is 5 out? Or is 4 the most recent one? That song's called Reflection Pool. It was named by Kid James. Somebody said they just recently started watching Simpsons and asked if I like Bart. I haven't watched The Simpsons in a very long time, but I liked Bart a lot when I was a kid. I know maybe the shirt could be misleading. It make me seem like a big Bart fan. But honestly, I just saw this shirt in a store, and I really like monochrome things, and all over print things I also like. So it was just a perfect storm, and it happened to be of something that I did like in the past. I think I still do a lot of referencing of like the first 6 seasons of The Simpsons a lot. Sorry, just figuring out something new about my songs. As per usual. closed down. Yes, Joshua, this is closed down. It's an acoustic version. Making a baby blanket for someone who commissioned me. Word up. Somebody asked me recently, what's an activity I can do in the background while working? Obviously, while working on music, it's really hard to do anything. It's hard to take in any other media, you know, because making music requires my eyes and my ears, which is pretty heavy sensory requirement. But I do listen to podcasts while I just worked out before. I work out before the streams, and usually during the stream, I'll listen to podcasts. What podcasts do I like? I listen to the Bam Bam podcast. I listen to the Joe Budden podcast. I listen to a few movie review podcasts, like Flophouse and How Did This Get Made. Mostly comedy and hip hop podcasts, I would say. It's the majority of what I listen to. video on YouTube. I'll post it today, I promise. Why is my nose itch so much today? I think it's my mustache. Good morning, Lindsay. I'm doing okay, actually. What's today, Tuesday? Doing okay. Yeah, yesterday was kind of productive. I started editing a new video yesterday, so that was nice. Could you play Coliseum for us later? I love that song. It's one of my favorites. You know, Mushroom Tea, I never play Coliseum in the streams, and it's been so long since I played it that I've forgotten the chords to it. But I've had this conversation before. Somebody requested Coliseum in the stream, I want to say like 6 months ago, roughly, and I actually relearned it live in the stream because I felt bad for having forgotten that song. It's just, since it's a loop, I have a few songs that are like very, very short loops, like Sleep In, Coliseum. Really, honestly, most of the stuff from Lush Stream, like Groomscake, I can kind of remember because it's similar chords to Kiwi. But Coliseum. I'm just hearing Sleep In my head now. What is Coliseum? I'll tell you what. Mushroom Tea. We're we're 18 minutes into the stream right now. At the 40-minute mark, I'll relearn it. I'll relearn it for you, and then I'll play it. It shouldn't be too hard. All the songs from West Stream are fascinatingly easy to play. I just can't even hear it in my head right now. There's too many songs on that mixtape. There it is. That chord progression is always so hard for me to remember, and it's because I haven't committed it yet to a song. I'll figure it out later. Good morning, guys. Whenever I hear Coliseum, I think it would make good music for some kind of tutorial video. Lindsay, I get that a lot. I get that not necessarily about Coliseum, but just about all of my more chill music. And some people have used my music in the background of production tutorials, which is pretty funny. On Facebook usually. Argument with somebody on Facebook. I try to avoid arguments on the internet, if at all possible. So it's not a good venue for arguing, contrary to, the activity on YouTube comments. But somebody basically posted a video. They posted a video on Facebook that was like an ad for I actually don't know what the thing was. It was basically a client on Canada that will it's basically chord information for MIDI. So you never really have to learn chords. You can kind of scroll through a list of chords that are already pre-made and put them together, and they're like organized by key and everything, or likely chord progression, so that you're never really off. And there was a lot of people that were being, as angry in the comments as you would assume, where there was a lot of like musicians, a lot of older people typically, that were chastising the people using the thing, saying that they needed to spend time with an instrument to become a real musician, and that these tools were basically encouraging and sustaining a lot of like fake musicians, like moronic fake musicians. Their words, not mine. And while I totally understood that mindset, because I think I myself used to have it, maybe when I first started subtractive synthesis. But I think I spoke up kind of in support of the tool. Not because I think that people shouldn't spend time with instruments and learn stuff themselves, but I also feel like it kind of doesn't matter what tools somebody's using as long as it's legal and they're not stealing things from somebody else. I kind of feel like no matter how somebody gets into something, it's fine. And I think that the problem that a lot of people in the comments were having were that there's like some type of hierarchy of musicianship, and that fake, quote unquote, fake musicians are getting money and fame or whatever, and quote unquote real musicians are going unnoticed or unappreciated. And I don't know that that's entirely true. Or at least I don't know if it's as simplistic as that. Yeah, people are very uppity. I think that ideally, everybody should spend time with a musical instrument. Everybody should kind of learn how to do things wrong in order to learn how to do them right. I'm kind of personally against taking things out of the box like already pre-made for me so that I can't fail. A lot of things can be learned from failure. For example, in the song that I'm playing right now, there's a bridge to this song that I wrote recently. And some of you that are in the stream pretty often will remember when I actually developed this bridge, because the old bridge got turned into a different song. It's a story for a different time. But sure, I'm adept at piano, and so now I can play things like this. But something that I found from this song came from a mistake, right? It used to go like this. Like so. And then I would just kind of loop like that. Except when I was playing all the time, I messed up. So instead of going from here to here, I went from here to here, which is essentially the wrong note. But I'll let you hear how it sounds. So the first version is this. Kind of looking back and forth, and then this is the second version. So it's more of like a walk up, a gradual walk up, which I think has a stronger narrative, chord progression wise, or at least baseline movement. And so, if you have a box of tools, right, that are pre-made, preordained for you, and somebody has decided these are the right tools to use, and this is the thing, you're always going to be in key, you're never going to make a mistake. This could be helpful for some people, absolutely, absolutely. But it also prevents you from discovering new things that would be intrinsically yourself, or at least it can. And so, I don't particularly support taking out, like pre-made tools for myself in my own song creation because I love being able to mess up and I love being able to play chords that I don't necessarily fully understand right now, or that maybe aren't in the same key. Maybe they are quote unquote wrong to play. And so I, as a creator, prefer to not have a bag of predetermined tricks. But with that, with me saying that, when I first started music, I got a subtractive synthesis. Oh, I actually still have it. Hold on. Okay. So this was my first subtractive synthesis. It's called Roland SH201. It is it is very dusty, but it is like the predecessor to the Roland Gaia, which is what I use now. It's white. You might have seen it kind of say. It's just slightly out of frame here. But when I bought it, it has, sound banks that have pre-made sounds on it. And I did use some of those at first, absolutely, because I didn't know what I was doing. Messed around, pressing some keys. I was like, oh, this sounds kind of cool. And then just, like anything, like a video game or like a yo-yo or a skateboard, after a while you kind of start messing with it to see what it can actually do. Interesting things. I started, turning knobs, pulling faders, pressing buttons, seeing what their actual functions were. And I was able to learn, one thing at a time. Like I was learning, oh, this knob does this button does this does that, yada, yada, yada. And I was able to grow as an artist. Now, as a subtractive synthesizer, or whatever you want to call me, a subtractive synthesis aficionado, I build all of my own sounds when I'm making a song. Now, does that mean that I'm anti preset sounds? For me, yes. Now, but I think that for somebody just starting out, tools are pretty important, and you don't want to be overwhelmed. You don't want to be overwhelmed. And a lot of people have different expectations from themselves when they're getting into a new art form. Some people start making music because they want to sound like something very specific. Some people start out making music or art just because they want to express themselves. Some people start out because they're bored, like I did. And so I feel like getting somebody into something is really important. Trying to make the barrier of entry as welcoming as possible. You don't want to have something that's like gate kept or very intimidating from the get-go. You want to be able to get people in, and if people are picking chords, like pre-structured chords out of a box and putting them together and making songs that way, that's fine. I think that eventually, if they do care about it and they do have a passion for it, they will gradually break out of that and they will have room to grow. But I think that beating up on people that are at the entry stages is not healthy. Not healthy. So I spoke out in support of this thing that was pre-made chords, and people attacked me for it. And I think that a lot of the aggression comes from insecurity, right? Because if somebody, what's a good analogy for this? Because I don't want to talk about the chord program in specific. Somebody might actually know what I'm talking about. If they're just giving lessons out, to do a skateboard trick. I use skateboarding so often. If they're just giving lessons out to do a skateboarding trick, or they're giving lessons out on how to, strategies. I'm sure you've seen like Super Smash Bros. Strategies where somebody's like, here's how to edge guard with Kirby. Here's Kirby's edge game. And people are like anti those videos sometimes because they're like, I don't want some random noob looking at these videos and then just doing this in a match. And I think that if people are getting tools to be good, you as somebody who maybe already is good shouldn't be threatened by that, because it takes a lot more than tools, right? Somebody can know all the chords on an instrument and still not be able to make a song. Maybe making a song comes from experience. Somebody can have like the best gear, the best laptop, the best synthesizer. Hello, Lame Karma. The best synthesizer, the best laptop, the best studio, and still not make a song that's going to connect with anybody. I think that there's a lot to be blamed on or credited to human experience and somebody's passion in a specific art form, and not necessarily the resources they're in. Somebody going to music school, or having better keyboards, or having more visibility, question mark, doesn't necessarily make better art. It's a thing of priority. And I think the reason people were really upset about the pre-made chord thing is because they feel like they have this kind of this prime knowledge of chords because they went to music school or they spent years and years learning them, and they feel like by simply giving these chords to new musicians that they are somehow cheating and catching up to the people that have spent time on this. But I mean, if you spend time on something, you're gaining something that can't necessarily be bought or borrowed or acquired in some type of shortcut fashion. Now, I like that chord. What is that? It's beautiful. That's what it is. Those people have the same energy as the people against student loan forgiveness. Exactly. It's like they suffered through a thing, so they want everybody else to suffer through a thing. But I think I'm getting to an even slightly more abstract point, which is that people are focusing on the wrong things. Like student loan forgiveness, right? If you're a student and you had to pay a bunch of money on your loans or whatever. If you focus on the money, yeah, the money is going to change. If people have student loan forgiveness now, then that means that they're not going to be in a dollar amount of debt, whereas you will be. But I think that there's always something to be gained from any venture, right? Like if somebody, say, went to school, music school, since I'm playing music right now, if somebody went to music school and they learned a bunch of things in music school, maybe they could say something like, I don't want Omni to just look at this YouTube tutorial because he's going to learn all the things that it took me years to learn. For example, I have a music theory book. And if I were in a school, they would be going at a much slower pace than I am right now. And somebody can make the argument that, oh, I had to pay $10,000 to go to this music school, and now you're just getting all that knowledge for free. Well, maybe that's true, but also there could be some other things to gain from going to music school that aren't necessarily just notes on paper. Maybe you're gaining experience being around other musicians. Maybe you're gaining a competitive edge because you're constantly in kind of like a think tank with a bunch of other people that have similar interests and goals as you do. Moving to Los Angeles, which is a thing I did 5 years ago for my music career, it was very expensive. And somebody could say that, oh, well, Omni, you just like post videos online. You don't have to be in Los Angeles. You can still have a viral video in Kansas City or Chicago or Florida or Texas, and they would be right. They would be absolutely right. But there's something to be gained from the proximity of Los Angeles in the music industry. For example, past Friday I played a pop-up with San Holo for like a Sidewalk Talks thing, which is an interview series that interviewed me a while ago, I think several years ago. But that would not have been possible if I didn't live here, if I wasn't physically close to the city, if I wasn't physically close to all these artists, if I weren't constantly running into these people on the subway, running into these people when I'm walking in downtown, running into these people in Hollywood, running into these people at events, I wouldn't be on the tip of their tongue when it came to booking an event. They'd be like, Omni, we would like Omni, but he's just so far away. So There's always something to be gained outside of the obvious. Yes, you can have a music career anywhere besides LA. But other things that are intangible that can be gained from living in Los Angeles, especially if you have a career in entertainment, absolutely. And oof, I love that chord so much. I just discovered this chord pretty recently. It's in my talk remix, which I'm gonna post maybe next week. Anyways, there's something to be gained from spending time with an instrument, learning chords that you can't get simply from pulling chords out of a hat or a program. There is something to be gained that isn't the chords themselves. It's more abstract than that. It's more abstract than that. Um, but wow, he's really going for it, huh? There's been a lot of there's been a lot of crows in the neighborhood since the parrots left. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, there's always something abstract to be gained. Try to focus on that. Good morning, Max. By the way, Jesus, he's really happy today. Um, there's always something abstract to be gained from experiences. Please, especially as an artist, try to focus on the abstract benefits of any endeavor you put yourself through. Because if you focus too much on the obvious benefits, sometimes you will lose sight of what you are gaining. A lot of times, especially in music career, there are very, very small things that people want to be able to gain. Not small. Let me back up. This is so distracting. Anyways, sometimes in music, there's a few short but important things that people tend to focus on. One of them being fans, popularity, and ultimately money. Fans, popularity, and ultimately money. Or we can lump all these things into the success. So people want to focus on success, especially in art, because it's very competitive. So if you are doing things and you aren't achieving your own definition of what you feel success is, it can feel like you're failing. It can feel like you're not getting anything out of it. And so I feel like if you focus on the abstract things that you're gaining from having proximity to or dedication to art, I won't even limit it to music, there are other things outside of maybe your definition of success. I'm not going to get into redefining success because that's a very long conversation for another stream. But skill level can grow. And even within the abstract benefit of skill, there's abstract definitions of skill, right? Somebody might think that skill, especially for piano, is being able to play really fast or being able to play like somebody else who has a lot of skill. Skill is different for everyone. It's very abstract. I mean, you can focus on a lot of things. You can focus on speed. You can focus on dexterity. You can focus on complexity in your songs. You can focus on composition of your songs. You can focus on just trivial knowledge of instruments and what they can do, what the ranges are, where they should go in a song or in a mix. If you're making music like I do, where I don't necessarily just use all synthesized, I'll say fictional sounds, I tend to use a lot of real or at least real referential sounds, like, oh, here's flutes, here are violins, here's a snare drum. I'm not just using all my subtractive synthesis in my songs. So sometimes there can be knowledge to be gained on where to put those things. Obviously, when I first started using strings, I was just throwing them everywhere. I was playing full things on flutes. Like I would have actually, hold on, because I have a flute sound in here. I would do things like I have the dumbest song stuck in my head. Pardon. But I would do things like this. Like just play stuff like that, like on Fruity Loops 3. This was like some of my older music when I was really trying to like, oh, I want to do like video game scores, so I was making really flourishy stuff with flutes. And then I had a little bit of a reality check when I realized a flute can't play that note. That's not a flute note. I learned that instruments, because I'd been playing keyboard for so long, and especially if you're on piano, which has 88 keys, that's the range, baby. Like, that's the range. And so, simply picking a flute, I would just play the range of a piano, which is unfortunate because a piano does have the biggest range of any instrument. Flutes have a very specific range, and it doesn't go down there. So, just like learning about instruments and learning what they can do, so that when I'm doing a whole arrangement of instruments, I'm going, oh, you know what I need down there? Maybe I need a bassoon down there. Maybe I need like a sorry. Oh, we got squirrels. Squirrels are bad. Yeah, putting like a bassoon down there, putting an oboe here, putting a clarinet, putting a bass clarinet here. You learn a little bit more about orchestration. That's how one of the ways in which I've grown in the past 2-3 years. And not necessarily simply in speed on a piano or simply in my left hand or whatever. Why did I get to this? Oh, because people were ragging on a program that gives you free chords. Yeah. If you minimize any level of success, then you can easily be threatened. You can think if somebody gets X, Y, and Z, then they'll be better than me. And it's probably not a good way to think about really any skill, not even necessarily just art. There are things to be gained. There aren't really any shortcuts in becoming a good artist or growing as an artist. There are shortcuts to other things. There's definitely shortcuts to money. As an artist, if you're an artist and you want to make money, there are shortcuts to get there. And some of us in this stream know what they are. Some of us in this stream have done them. But as far as growing as an artist, no, there's no shortcuts. I did say that I would relearn Colosseum, specifically for Mushroom Tea. Oh wait, I think I hear it. Do do do. Nah, I'm gonna go try to learn it. Yeah, I don't even know if Mushroom Tea is still in the stream, but on the odd chance that they are, I'm gonna go try to learn this thing. Oh Christ. The sad thing is, I don't know if I have MIDI for it, but we're about to find out if I do. We're at minute 46, everybody, so there is 15 minutes left of the stream, which is why I'm doing this now instead of later, because I'm going to run out of stream to do it in. So, Colosseum was on a collection of work called Lush Dream, if you're familiar. Whoa, sorry, I did a very bad thing. Oh no. Hold on. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's awful. Oh, I can't save it anymore. Sorry, I just did something really bad. So, that's okay. I'll redo it later. I accidentally saved over something that I was working on last night with Colosseum. Okay. Some food for thought. Colosseum used to be called Ollie. The name of the track used to be Ollie. I'm literally reading that right now. I've even forgotten. So I'm going to open up some MIDI really quick to see what the chords are. The first chord is... That's not the first chord. The first chord is... Aha. Found it? Okay, chord 1 is In My Brain. Chord 2. Chord 2 is In My Brain. Chord 3. Chord 3 is in my brain. Chord 4 is in my brain. Why did I talk like a robot? Okay. I mean, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to play the synth. I'll just play the chords. First chord. Oh, the crow's back. Because it's trash day. It's trash day. Crows love trash. First chord was... I can see it in my head. I can see it. Oh, the magic. Yeah. Alright. You know what's so weird? Those chords, these chords, come from, and the thing that's really sad is I think I've actually done this in this stream. I think I've done this exact same trivia thing, but it comes from this song. Cyber. And then Coliseum is again the first song. The only difference is this chord goes between the 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes between the 4th and the 5th chord. I see why people like Coliseum. Somebody's going to work. I think it's Max. Have a good day at work, Max. I have a lot of work to do today, too. But first... Whoa. Sorry about that. First, we have to go over a little bit of news. Wow, I'm not nearly as close to the end of the stream as I thought I was. So... I have 2 new albums out. I did play a song from one of them earlier in the stream. You might have recognized, well, Joshua recognized that I was playing Closed Down. jazz voice samples you used on your MIDI fighter come from Vocal Peck, or did you record them myself? I did not record them myself. They came from Omnisphere. Good question. My voice doesn't sound that pretty. So if you want to hear the full orchestration of that song, it's called "Close Down," and it is available on. Oh. It's available on an album called Ego Death. This says, I'm pretty sure you didn't see my other messages, but I promised to do it, so this is me reminding you to play Vanilla. Oh! I did not see your other messages. I'll play Vanilla while I'm going over. Oh, well, actually, that goes in perfectly to what I was talking about, because Close Down is actually on Quick Breath, not Ego Death. I have not yet played a song off of Ego Death, so here's Vanilla, which is an Ego Death track, which I can play without messing up now. I hope. The song's called Vanilla, and it has vocals on it. Me talking about going on a date. Wow, I think I only have one song that's like not sad. Anyways, Vanilla, I guess it sounds kind of sad, but if you listen to the lyrics, it's a happy song. I'm glad you like it, Lindsay. Now, if you like that song or Close Down, which I played right before it, you can find those tracks on Ego Death and Quick Breath, respectively. Where can you find those, though? They are on Bandcamp. They are on Spotify. They're on SoundCloud. I almost said Sondheimer. What is Sondheimer? That is a thing, right? Sondheim. The Sondheim Museum? Sondheim Museum? That sounds familiar. You love the beat of what song? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Kaz? Anyways, you can find those two albums on Bandcamp, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, Google Play Music, Amazon, MP3, Tidal, Groove, Deezer, Pandora, Napster, and YouTube. Which are on right now, and I'm going to be uploading a video today. I know I said that yesterday. I completely forgot. After I finished this stream, I made breakfast. A really good breakfast. I've been using egg challah bread instead of my normal pretzel bread. I feel like the egg challah bread's more expensive because it's kosher or whatever, but it's really good. And I think it's lighter. It's a little bit lighter, so I don't feel as weighed down after breakfast. It's like, this is unimportant information that I'm giving you guys. I did play a show recently. Last Friday, I played in downtown Los Angeles in Little Tokyo. Wow, Lindsay. Maybe I'll have to include it. Yes, Sennheiser. That's what I'm thinking of. And Kaz says they like the beat of Vanilla. In my head, I can't remember the beat. Oh wait, that where it's just me wailing on tom drums. Yeah, yeah, Vanilla's fun. Lots of chimes and toms. You know what's really funny about that, Cause? I don't know if you know that. Oh my God, we're going a little bit of a detour, but I'm gonna make it quick. I promise. I don't know if you know the band Tennyson, but when I was writing that song had no drums. And I went to go see Tennyson, which if you're not familiar with Tennyson, it's like kind of like a jazz electronic duo featuring a brother and sister, Luke and Tess. Tess is the drummer and Luke is the keyboardist and everything else, kind of. And when I went to go see them live, Tess did a thing with the drums. And after the show, I was talking to her about it. And it was kind of this really interesting, like, tom rhythm. And I am not a drummer, so I don't really know a lot about the arrangements and articulations of drum patterns. And she was telling me basically, like, how people that don't know how to drum will arrange drums that don't necessarily make sense, for an actual drummer. And that a lot of times oh my God, I know this is a detour, I promise guys, I'm wrapping it up. But when people are arranging drums, in order to give like a human feel, they will unquantize it and they will mess with the velocity, which is the speed at which a drum is hit, which will make it feel more like a human's playing it instead of a computer, notes being put into a machine. And so she said a good way to get that human feel is to actually think about the way you're hitting something, or even if you don't have like a drum pad or a drum machine, go to a piano and when you're pressing in the MIDI, press in MIDI or and then look at the velocity on the thing and then just translate that into drums. There is something to be said. A human being is never going to hit a drum the same velocity or the same hardness with the same speed every single time. This is even if you are a professional musician. If you've been on drumline your entire life, you're still not hitting them at the same velocity. There is going to be variation because you are a human being. You're just made out of muscle and meat. And so when I came home after the Tennyson show, I wrote that drum pattern. And when I wrote the drum pattern, I did two things. I put in a lot of velocity so that it had more of a human feel. All of those drum hits are actually happening at different speed and kind of hardness or velocity. I know I'm trying to put it in layman's terms. Also, I did it twice, and when I did it the second time, I did it out of time because I'm not a human metronome. I can't constantly be in time all the time. So if you listen really closely to the drums and Vanilla, especially when the toms come in, and you listen really close, depending on how acute your ear is, you can hear that those tom drums, they're actually out of time a little bit. And thank you for liking the drums on Vanilla, cause I appreciate it. Um, what was? Oh right. I played a show last Friday in downtown Los Angeles. I played it at a boba shop of all places. It was me, AO Beats. Sanholo was there. Sanholo didn't play. It was more of a meet and greet for him, and it was really really nice. A lot of nice people. Everybody was super appreciative. I got a free shirt. I got free boba. I played a lot of music, and then I went home. As far as another show, there are some shows in the works, but none I'm allowed to talk about yet because they have not been announced. As far as merch, it's still coming, guys. It's coming this year. And as far as streams, you got it, guys. It's here every morning at 9 a.m. There have been a few times where I've ran late. I have started at 9:15 before. And there have been a few holidays in which I did not stream at all. But more or less, I'm here at 9 a.m. More than less. I'm here at 9 a.m. every weekday morning. I think, what is it, Tuesday? No, never mind. Forget what I was going to say. I'm going to post a YouTube video to, my... Ooh. That's funny, that's Hush Sound, but that's not in the key I'm supposed to play it in. It's because I wasn't looking at the keyboard. Anyways. I said I was going to post that video yesterday. If you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, you've probably already seen the video. Maybe not in its entirety unless you were on Twitter, because Instagram, of course, shortens all my videos to about 59 seconds. But I'm going to be posting that video on YouTube today. So stay tuned for that if you like my little edited videos. This song is called Hush Hour. I wrote it when I was was abroad, and it's really short, so I usually use it to end the streams. If you want to hear this song in its entirety outside of the stream, I have a music video for it that I uploaded to my YouTube page. Thank you. I'm probably not going to name the video I'm having fun again. I need to come up with an actual name for the tune. That's why I haven't posted it yet. I've just been racking my brain to actually name it. Who did that animation, says Lindsay. The animation was done by Genie, and they have an art partner up in Canada that helped them with it as well. If you don't know who Genie is, please check out their work. I have them tagged in a few things that I posted on my page because they also did the art for 1/Million. You might have recognized that, the track that I did with Ahio Robo. I've worked with them a few times in the past. They're a pretty good friend. And that is who did the animation in the video. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything else before I peel out of here. Cyber says, I don't remember if you said, but the little animation of the clapping hands, did you get that commission or did you make it yourself? Because that's awesome. Ooh, I definitely got that commissioned. Yeah, by Genie. And I can't remember her art partner's name. So, this is my bad. I'm screwing up here. I'm taking full responsibility for this. I am going to, in the next stream, shout that person out as well. It's just that Genie's my homie, and this other artist is a homie of Genie, so I don't have a personal relationship with them, so I didn't know. I didn't know. So I apologize, but I promise in the next stream for you, Lindsay, and you, Cyber, I will credit both of them for that. Or you can go into the post, because in the bottom of the post she did, and on Twitter she did reply with the other person's ad as well. When I got that thing commissioned, I made a big oopsie where I was like, oh, how many frames could it possibly be? You know, I'm just gonna get a few frames, a little animation done. So hopefully, you guys can do this. You guys can do this, right? This shouldn't cost too much. It wasn't necessarily a cost thing. Cost is no issue when it comes to paying artists. Pay artists, please. But it was more so I underestimated how many frames it would be. And obviously, if an animation is like 1.5 seconds and you're doing 60 frames a second, that's a lot of frames. So, anyways, I did get it done, and so I'm really glad that she did it. I appreciate it. I needed that. Thank you, everybody, for being respectful to me and polite to each other. Always a really good way to start the day. I don't know about you guys. I do know about some of you guys, because some of you guys have said it. But for me, it is a really good way to start the day. You guys are always really positive, very informative, and also very inquisitive, which can make for an interesting and talkative stream. So I appreciate it. I will see you all tomorrow for the Wednesday stream. I'm gonna go get some pizza today. And come up with a name for that song that I'm gonna be posting. Abo, everybody. Oh, thank you, Mockter. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Abo.